Call this meeting to order. And this is the Town of Holden Beach Board of Adjustments regular meeting, Town Hall Public Assembly. Today is February 21st, 2022. Roll call, please.
Holden Rubino. Ann Arnold.
Here.
Richard Griffin.
Here.
Richard Roberts.
Here.
Jack Loman.
Here.
Phil Caldwell.
Here.
Mary Lou Lauren.
Here. And next we'll have the approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections, any discussion? I was happy to read the minutes. Yes, the minutes. Mary Lou, you had.
I was going to move that they be approved because presented.
I have a motion that we approve. Any second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All say aye.
Aye.
So the minutes have been approved as they were written for the meeting on October 18th, 2021. I was interested in reading those, by the way, because I wasn't here. I wasn't here. So first we have case number 0122. First case of this year.
That handout is for 160.
Okay, the second one. Okay. So should we take a minute to read this? This is regarding this second one. Mhm. All right, case number 122 is to request a variance from the Holden Beach Zoning Code of Ordinance, Chapter 15, Section 157, 060D3, to encroach on the front yard setback 25 feet located at 199 Ocean Boulevard East, Holden Beach, North Carolina. Who is here to present their case? All right, we need you sworn in. We have to swear in witnesses. We have two of these each.
I do. I have the next one now. Yeah. One, two.
This is the Bakers.
What's the case number on this first one?
Application number is, it's 22-01-22.
For 1-22.
It's the first one this year, yes. We'll get to you. All right,
It's 199 east.
raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible. Do you so solemnly swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? This is the first time I've ever had to do that. Okay. All right, will you come up and state your name and tell us about what?
Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Causey Cox. My father and I own 160 Ocean Boulevard West.
No, we're doing 157.
Oh, well, you said one.
199.
I mean, I'm sorry, 199.
199 east.
199 East. Are you with 199 East? Okay. That's what you were trying to get straightened out, wasn't it, Richard?
Sorry.
You can say it straight, you can say it, you could say it straighter than that. You can say we're
Next
on the
time I
wrong
will.
case.
Next time I will.
Oh, please.
Tim
do.
did too, I think.
All right. Okay, we'll get it right this time. So now we're hearing case at 199 Ocean Boulevard East. Okay. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Now. On this case. Sorry.
I'm requesting permission to put a cargo lift at 199 Ocean Boulevard East. This is a house that was built in the 50s, and I realize that it's closer to the sidewalk or the right-of-way than normal. When John Holden built it, I don't think he worried about that too much. The lift that I'm requesting will be on the side of the house and will not extend towards the sidewalk any farther than it's currently there. In fact, it'll be back about 10 feet total from the steps and all that are already out that way. As you can tell, I need help. I got down here last night at 5 o'clock, and I still got about half the stuff left in the car because carrying stuff up and down just wears me out. Now, I can do the steps myself without carrying stuff, and I could walk with my buddy for a long way, but I cannot carry stuff up and down. And, since we will not be out any farther than the current house, I'm asking for approval to put cargo lift in. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions on the owner? You're Mr. Baker.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Did you investigate any other locations for the elevator? Can you tell us?
Yes, sir, I did, and it
Inside or behind?
there's no place inside. It's an old house, 2 apartments basically, but it would more than triple the expense and lose the use of actually 1/4 of the bedrooms. So it's be prohibitive at this time, my age and all. But yes, sir, we did explore all alternatives. Any other?
No, I have a question.
We're at,
For you guys. Since this house is grandfathered in and it's further up than the 25 feet, and this lift is going to be set behind that, is that correct? That's my understanding, correct?
Well, the plot plan shows it to be sitting a little bit behind where the front of the porch, which is already encroaching, but when you say to turn grandfather, this is a non-conforming house under statute, it's not grandfather. It's there because it's non-conforming. If they ever try to do anything to the front porch or anything, they would be denied, just like they're denied now because it's non-conforming. And you can't add to the non-conformance. If they were trying to extend it or add to it, that would be good. But if they would try to do something like remodel or repair the front porch, that's not adding to the non-conforming use. As I sit here and look at this, it looks to me like if you was to move it over the width of the cargo lift and put it up through, I don't know where the front door is, but put it up through the step, up through the deck, he's not adding to the non-conforming use. In other words, he's not adding something that's now in the front yard setbacks. He's simply removing portion of the deck and placing that into that area that is already non-conforming. Did I just make sense?
yes.
Yes. So he's non-conforming as it is. If he was gonna add a deck on that side, we would have to turn it down because he's adding.
I've been there, but
I don't know if he's considered putting it up through the deck, moving it over the width of the lift and putting it up through the deck, but we would have most likely issued that permit as it not being considered adding to the non-conforming use as I understand the statute.
Have you considered that, sir?
Yes, sir, we considered that. It is within the realm of possibility, the steps, we would have to come up with some different steps for it to fit in that area that I think he's talking about. And it just is not, in our opinion, a good feasible use. It's still going to basically be, I mean, you're taking it and moving it from this end of the table to that end of the table, but it's still setting back just as far as it was. There's no, am I correct on that, sir?
Well, one more time, the porch at this time is non-conforming. The structure of the whole is non-conforming. If you went to add anything to the structure that is not inside its normal footprint, you would be adding to the non-conforming use. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that's why we have to turn it down. Now, if it's a hardship or, you know, if it meets that criteria for the board of adjustments to come to some other conclusion, you know, we can just give the facts. The facts are, that's why we have to.
I understand. But it is, you know, I don't know if you have the whole packet, but there is a letter from my lung doctor in there saying it's necessary. And to be totally honest with you, I just finished this month, excuse me, a pulmonary rehab sessions. And in the last 6 months, my breathing has deteriorated significantly. That's why we've decided we don't do something, we won't be able to use the cottage. And we've been doing it for 47 years, and we'd like to do it for at least a few more. I don't think we'll make 47, but a few more.
Do you have anything else to add, Tim, Rhonda?
Well, I think I'm about to add something that is, it's your job to determine whether or not our job will. I think you would need to consider that, you know, just wanting to tell the truth when he says that the steps are in the way of moving it over, is what I heard. I'm not sure I should be saying this, I think I should take into consideration in this particular instance. At the same time, setbacks are setbacks.
Well, did you have anything else?
Unless you
I'd
have-
like to say a couple of things. I think people who bring things to this board think that we can just make a decision without any consideration whatsoever to what the rules are for this board. And the rule number one, and most important rule, is that we cannot make unlimited, we don't have the discretion to make decisions without following a certain set of rules. And those are questions that we have to find a yes answer to. And I want to make sure that you understand that.
I understand.
Okay. We've talked about hardships. And the rules really do talk about personal hardships. This is a personal hardship to you that is not brought on by where the house is located or any of the ordinances that are written by the town of Holden Beach.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, it simply says that in so much verbiage here. And I'm torn by that because I really do want to hear the personal hardships and I want to, but this will go with the land once we make this decision and you decide or your family decides to sell the house, then it will go with the land. It doesn't matter who owns that property.
Correct.
We have made a decision that will go with the land from henceforth on. So,
Well,
I hope I'm making myself clear. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're trying to say, ma'am. If I might add to it then, two thoughts that we had, in fact, we were standing out there talking today about it, that when we start to get rid of that house, I feel pretty confident it'll be torn down at that time because they want something that's bigger. I mean, it's just, they're tearing them down right and left around us. But if it would help, I'll go ahead and agree to tear the lift down before I sell it. And then it won't be there.
But we will have given a non-conforming variance to the house, to the land,
I know.
regardless. Am I right, Tim?
Well, the truth is that you don't set precedent by making a decision.
But for that particular land,
For that particular land, the rest of the house is still gonna be non-conforming. You know what I mean?
well, let's just say that the house is torn down. Does the decision that we make today allow somebody to put something in that 5 foot, within the 20-foot setback?
No, once it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't, if they, in the way both the new 160D rules read and our ordinance would require, once demolition is done, to remove everything. And once it's gone, you're not entitled to it anymore, whether you have a variance or not. Now, there are some land variances that can be issued that would follow the land. But this particular one is a trouble that it doesn't follow.
Structural variances do not follow the land. Okay. That makes a big difference to me. How about you, Mary Lou? Anybody else have any
You have
comments?
I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
If you did as Inspector Evans suggested, and you cut through the decking, and your lift went up through that, that's what I'm thinking of. Is it, structurally, can you support the decking by doing that? Or would you have to add additional pilings to the house?
I think, I don't know, I'd have to, it takes some figuring. Sir, you,
The cargo lift supports itself on the legs.
Right.
They would simply have to cut a hole out of the deck and then double joist bands for headers. So the lift would come up through. It's done not regular. It's not something that's not done regularly.
And is your lift, was it going to be 2 stories or just a single story?
it'll go up to the second, well, it'll go up to the second story, but it will not stop at the first story, which is on ground level. So I guess my answer to that is it's single stop
Single
on the second,
stop.
but on the second level. Is that the appropriate answer?
Yeah, it's really hard to give them a good
This house, this house has a deck that is on a crawl space, if I'm correct from what I saw yesterday.
Yes.
The first level is on a crawl space, and then the second level is
Yeah, it's a pretty fun house.
in a pre-firm house, yes. Anybody down here have more questions? Okay. No more questions? Are you ready to vote?
Yes.
You think we've asked all the questions and we've answered them with sufficiently?
I do.
Okay, so this is case number,
Let me ask one other
Yes.
question.
please.
Do you use your house just yourself, or do you also make it available as a rental home?
I did not make it available as a rental home.
So it's strictly family?
It's strictly family. And my wife and I occupy the upstairs, and we've told all the siblings and family that they can use the downstairs, first come, first served. We don't make decisions. If you don't sign up early, you don't get it. And there's no rental now. There used to be, but not now.
Thank you.
You bet.
Fuchsia.
Pretty in pink.
Do you sign your name?
I can do that.
Oh, we were putting names last time.
I believe in filling in all the blanks. Oh, yeah, lots of votes today. Pass them down to Megan. You have to verify the vote. Okay, it's, I can say it. It's unanimous for you to get the variance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all's consideration and time. Thank you very much. Also say, in the 3 months since this has happened, I talked to Tim one time, and he's very gracious with me. And that young lady at the end was super. If I was still employing people, I'd hire her tomorrow and move with you.
Thank you, sir. All right, now we'll get to 160 Ocean Boulevard West. This one's west.
West, that's right.
This one is west. And this is Ms. Causey, who has been duly sworn in, and so has Mr. Tim and Ms. Rhonda.
So the gentleman that was before you, I started crying because everything that he was saying, my mother and father lived here. They were permanent residents. And when my dad built his house in 1996, Dr. Robbie Don told my mother, you do not need a lift and you do not need an elevator. You have to walk those steps every day, Elaine, or it will kill you. I lost my mother in 2013 from COPD. In hearing that gentleman, it just brought back all those flashes, so I apologize. As you can see in the information I provided for you, my daddy is now 86. He'll be 86 May 2nd. Dad was in the hospital last week with congestive heart failure. He has not been back to his home since June of last year. Daddy fell off a porch and cracked his skull and had 3 brain aneurysms. And it's a miracle I have my daddy, but he says he's here to help me with my husband. My husband is 76. He has stage 4 Parkinson's. And to be very honest with you folks, he's fixing to transition tomorrow to hospice. So my husband will probably not get a chance to ever come back to his house that he loves. But I'm fighting still for him. Both my dad and my husband are veterans. My husband fought in Guam. He has dioxin poisons from Agent Orange. We do not get any disability or compensation. I am still a teacher. I took a day. I felt that I started working with him in the group last year, and I said this is something that I promised Don that I would try to get him a place to go back to the beach. We called the fire department Christmas and asked them could they help us lift Don up the steps. Our house is 2 stories, but we have now taken over Daddy and Mama's bedroom, and Daddy's taken over Grandmother's bedroom downstairs. So it would be just one stop. It would not be up. We couldn't get Don here Christmas. He just couldn't make it. So my teddy bear, my 6'8" teddy bear, who used to weigh 370 pounds, is now in a wheelchair, and you can pass that so that everybody can see. And he's about 310 pounds now, and we're just taking one day at a time. We was in the hospital with 2 weeks ago and back in the hospital Saturday. And they're trying now to decide if what we're gonna do, send him to hospice or what. The lift is a cargo lift, you guys. From a teacher standpoint, this has probably been one of the most arduous things, even when I went back and got my master's, to ever do, because I don't know that much about construction. I talked with 2 different vendors. I talked with Mobility out of Wilmington to see if they would be possible to put a elevator anywhere in the house, because y'all, I'm getting older too, And it's harder for me to go up and down the steps, but this was not for me. If I just lose some weight, I could go up and down those steps just fine. This is for my dad and my husband. Don is in a wheelchair, and that wheelchair would have to stay on the back of his truck. We have a lift on the truck. We do not have a van. It would have to be a lift on a truck to be able to get the cargo lift to lift him in the wheelchair up, because it's motorized, into the house. And again, I don't think Don will make it, but I know Daddy will, because Daddy's determined to come back to his beach house. So that is the plight that I'm in right now. 3 different vendors trying to find a way. An elevator, I will tell you, was going to cost me over $40,000. Mom and Dad just never built that house for an elevator. Daddy's kicking himself because he didn't buy Miss Hall's house years ago. He said, I should have bought Miss Mary's house, but he didn't. So that's where we're at. Same situation as the gentleman before you. And I'm open to answering any questions that you have.
Is it a lift or is it an elevator?
It's a cargo lift, and I don't know why they keep saying it's an elevator. It is a cargo lift. I can't get an elevator in that little space.
But with the cargo lift, a cargo lift, my understanding of it is that an individual cannot ride in it.
As long as he's part of that wheelchair is part of him, he can, when I was told he could go up in that cargo. And that's why we can't come down in the size of it, because Don's legs are so long, and his is an oversized. That's why I gave y'all my actual picture, so you can see it's an oversized, because he's such an oversized man. He can't walk now. There's just no way. So the only way I can get him up is for him to go in that wheelchair, the electric wheelchair, and it will go straight up and get into the house.
You said it was a 1,000-pound lift,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
and it's built by whom?
Oh, well, I've got 2 bids and 2 different people, and you see neither one of them are here with me, because I'm not a simple one, because I've always been denied, so they kind of walked away from me. Lift USA out of Wilmington, and then Joey Butler out of Butler's. So, and it's gonna have to be one of the 2, because I don't know of anybody else. And then, again, the people with the elevator are out of Wilmington.
Got some issues here.
Okay, the issue, Mr. Evans.
Issue number 1 is that if it's a lift that moves people, then that is a different code than a cargo lift. And I was under the impression that it was a cargo lift. And if it's a lift that moves a person, then the building code is going to be different. And judging from what I have here, I can't really tell if they're indicating that that thing is with 3 feet or closer to that side setbacks. If it's determined to be an elevator, it's going to have to meet a different set of standards all the way around. If it's a cargo lift, that's not going to matter. But cargo lifts are different than lifts that move people. It's hard to say. You can sell a cargo lift and tell people they can ride it, but if it's not a cargo lift, if it's some sort of a lift or elevator lift or something that runs a human, there's a different standard that has to be installed. There's a different standard as to what goes at the bottom. There are FEMA guidelines that's going to come into play under our NFIP. There's a lot more involved other than it being a cargo lift.
So what we need here, what I'm hearing you say.
What we need is, and I don't know if they were presented with the plans, with the permit applications, but we actually need the specifications for this so we can determine whether it's for.
They were submitted, so Lift USA gave them.
Yeah, let's go get them.
Okay.
'Cause I was under the impression that it was a cargo lift.
You mean elevator?
No, for some reason I was under the impression I would have told you it would have been mute because the building code, you don't hear appeals to the building code at the Board of Adjustment if it had been an elevator. Because that's the building code that's state law.
Well, I know there are cargo lifts being used to haul people up and down this island.
That I have no doubt. when somebody gets hurt, somebody's gonna answer.
That's very true, true.
And I'm sure they're being sold that exact same way, that they're probably, but the difference is that the base of them is not built for stability like for a human being. If your groceries fall down and die, it's not a big loss. If a person gets hurt, or a child is under it, and doesn't have the proper safety stuff, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a way to get in and out. There's things in an elevator that have to be there that's not in the safety features and that kind of stuff. Some of them have the brakes,
Standard.
some of them don't.
And sometimes the brakes don't work.
Yep, that thing goes to drop. But at the same time, if it's an elevator, then elevators have to be enclosed here, and they have to break away walls, or they have to be hardened structures. I apologize. This is a standard cargo lift. So that's where you're going. It's cargo lift. Cargo lift. It's a cargo lift.
Well, I'm sworn to tell you the truth. I put my hand on that Bible, sir, and I'm a teacher. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's
No,
from
I
my
know.
daddy and my husband,
No, I
sir.
understand that, but what I'm saying is a cargo lift is not meant for human.
No,
So that's what we're saying is there's liability there.
Now, I could easily just told you it's just to lift their stuff. That'd be wrong. That's a lie. My husband cannot walk those stairs. My daddy can barely walk those stairs.
What Mr. Evans is indicating further, Cheryl, is that we talk to your vendor about putting in an outdoor elevator instead of a cargo lift.
Yeah, and Lift USA doesn't do that, and.
Well, there
and
are those who
Joey-
do, Butler does.
Yeah, yeah, Joey does, yeah.
And then in that case, would we have to have,
Can we just postpone the
yeah, I
the
think we're gonna
decision
have
and
to do that.
come back at another
Yeah,
date?
I think you can postpone, and then you can come back if you want to. But, like I said, if she reapplies it with an elevator, it may end up having to be inside the deck anyway, because the codes aren't, it's gonna be awful close. Because once you put a foundation there, and then I gotta look at the NFIP. it may
And there's
require-
room on that deck for it to come up through it. There is absolutely room there, because I went there yesterday and looked.
And I hate to say this, but there's been quite a few people hurt on cargo lifts using them as regular lifts. As even being kids.
Here on the beach, Tim?
There's one at Oak Island that fell, I think it failed and hurt a child one time. They were using it to go up and down.
But that
And I
was a
say,
cargo, that
I'm
was
pretty
a
sure
cargo lift.
it was a while back, but it's pretty sure it was fatal.
I
But
guess
there-
that's maybe why they didn't come to support me today, because they knew that my husband and my dad were gonna use it. to
That's
help them.
probably true.
That could be.
Well,
They
they,
know
listen,
rules.
they may have, they may be able to provide some documentation that would give them the ability to do this. Because I see there's a break on it, but it's not classified. They classified it as a cargo. It says standard cargo.
Well, I have called Lift USA 4 times to tell them I was going in front of you guys, and I get a phone call back from Murdoch. So,
How about Joey? Did you,
I'll call Joey today, I'll let him know.
doesn't he work with Brian Murdoch?
I don't know who he works for.
No, he doesn't.
This is another
Let me
Butler.
go ahead and tell you, he doesn't.
Okay.
Ain't that Joey from this morning?
Was that the judge this morning?
Apparently, Brian Murdoch told us he don't work with him no more, but you can check. You can check. I might be wrong about that.
There might be more.
Ed, thank you.
Well, I think we need
tried.
a motion.
So are we gonna bring it back?
Let's ask her, can you go back and get a different approach that of an elevator that would go inside and you wouldn't have to bring it back if it would go inside the deck.
Yeah, that's what she's telling
It
me
will
right now.
still have to be approved, because he just said the code.
No, if you put it inside the deck, which is probably, if it's an elevator, if it's gonna carry somebody, it's gonna have to be inside that deck. Looks like the porch area to the left would be a great opportunity.
Underneath the awning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I originally wanted it,
I
but we're so
would go
close.
with an elevator and put it right there. You can build it out of breakaway walls. The cargo lift people, if put in right, it's not gonna be a tremendous amount of difference. The only difference is that it uses beefier equipment, a heavier motor, and it's got 4 walls protecting it. And it's got like an emergency phone in it and other things, in case you get stuck halfway.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I will call and see what I can do. For my husband, I think it's too late, but for Dad, I would really like for him to be able to come down, so I will do what I can do. I wish that they had built this house with an elevator, because, even when the day comes that I can't, I mean, I've got 2 men that I love that can't come down right now. They just can't. So I will just have to go back to drawing board and see what somebody says.
You can reduce your time. If you do go back and you come up, and there are some open lifts that allow people to ride, but they're not cargo lifts. If you come back with that and it's actually located inside the porch, and we will help you, it won't have to come back before this board.
Well, I just did when I applied for the permit, and, I just went through the process. When you don't know, you just do what somebody's told, so.
Right, but like I said, we were under the impression that it was a cargo lift. You know what I mean? Now that we know it's gonna be running other people. But if the cargo lift had been over there, we would have approved that too. We would have approved that. Because it's not adding to a non-conforming use, it's not making it non-conforming.
I should have kept my mouth shut, but I can't do that. My daddy told me a long time ago.
I think you might say your daddy.
We have found some solutions for you, and we hope that they will work.
Thank you.
So, I don't know how to close this case, except just to get a motion.
I would postpone it.
Yeah.
I would just postpone it to the next one. Because they may be able to provide something as far as the cargo lift.
So moved. Let's just say a motion to postpone it to see if the customer can come up with another approach that will satisfy his inspection.
Exactly. Now, hear a second to that motion. Second. So, all in favor?
Aye.
So it would be postponed to the next meeting, and in the meantime, if you can get with Tim and find a solution.
We'll work together.
You won't have to come back here if you get a solution. You don't have to come back to us.
I'm going to say, you speed this process up. I would have whoever that is you're dealing with, give me a call.
Joey.
That ain't- Yeah,
Okay.
Lift USA.
All right. Your choice.
Have it or give me a call.
Okay, I lost my agenda. Here we go. Is there any old business? Any new business? Do I hear a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?